Hello and welcome to the Cool Library. These are my movies. And welcome to this video. I'm going to be talking to you about my top 10 movies that I watched in 2021, hence the movies in the background. Sorry, it's so awkward. There's literally a mirror right here and I'm just like seeing myself there. I'm seeing myself here and it's weird. So 2021 was not a great movie year. I didn't really watch a whole lot of movies, and the movies that I did watch were not great. I think I mainly watched 3-star movies. I only gave, if we're not including, Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas movies, which I don't include them, but if we're not including those, I only gave 2 movies 5 stars. Only 2. How am I supposed to do a top 10 where only 2 movies were 5 stars? So let's hope 2022 is better, but I do have a top 10 for my movies. It's just some of them I didn't love, but like compared to the other movies I watched, they were better. So this one might not be as exciting as my book one, which I also do have a book one, but that one's a top 20 because I could not choose because I read so many good books. But I'll put a link down below if you want to see my top 20 books of the year 2021. Sorry, I have like my list here, but I'm just going to shout out some honorable mentions. We're not going to talk about them. They're just going to be there. The Tomorrow War, Afterlife of the Party, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Those are the honorable mentions. At number 10, I have Luca. This is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I love the story. This is a movie about Luca, who is some sort of like creature that lives in the ocean, and he's always told to like never go above the water. One day he does, and he realizes that when he goes above water, like his species of creature turn into humans when they get on land. But these like sea creatures also hate humans because the humans are hunting them. Anyway, so Luca makes a friend, a human friend, and they like hang out, and he like sees like the human world above on land and really likes it. And he gets like put into this like triathlon type race. And it's a really cute story, and it's with really cute and adorable characters that you just can't help but love. And I will say it does have that like typical Disney Pixar formula. So it's nothing like too special, but at the same time, it's still very enjoyable. At number 9, I have Free Guy. This was hysterical. I knew I was gonna love it just from the trailers, but I love this movie. We have Ryan Reynolds, who is playing this RPG character in a video game. So he's supposed to just like have a set rule of things that he does, but he starts like creating his own thoughts and starts doing his own thing and actually starts like playing the game. It's really funny. It's so funny, and I love the cast. There's also like a lot of action and adventure, and it's just super fun. I do think the villain, as much as I love Taika Waititi, he is a little bit too over the top in the movie, but like other than that, I really loved this, and honestly, it's one of those movies I can definitely watch over and over and over again and still enjoy it. My favorite though is definitely Jodie Comer. I really like her. I think she was fantastic in this role, but especially because she did play 2 different characters, and you can definitely like tell the difference between the 2, which is very good, very well done. At number 8, I have Everybody's Talking About Jamie. This was a live musical that was turned into a movie. I have not seen the live performance, so I don't know how well it is from stage to screen, but I did really enjoy the movie a lot. I watched it 2 times this year, and I think the first time it made me cry, and it's a great story about this kid who wants to go to prom in a dress, and he's starting to also like realize that he wants to be a drag queen, and it's just like the school not accepting him wearing a dress to prom, but like him trying to fight that, and it's one of those things where it's like it's a hard story, but it's told in such like almost like a lighthearted way that it's easy to swallow, but it's great, and I absolutely love this. The only thing I didn't like about the movie were the songs. I think there was only one song I actually liked and added to like my musical playlist, but other than that, the songs I cannot remember them. I cannot tell you what they are. And I was just like, there was especially one number where every time I watch it, I fall asleep. But again, this is a top 10, so we're here to talk about the good things. I just feel like I need to point out some things I didn't like because again, it's a 4-star, so it's not a 5-star. But it still is a great movie and I highly recommend it. I love the production value of this movie as well. I thought like the musical numbers, even though I didn't really like the music, I thought they were very well done in the sense of choreography and the production value behind it and like really being able to tell like, this is a musical number that is in his head and then we go back to the real world. Like I really liked it. And also his friend Pretty was so, oh my god, I loved her. She was my favorite character in the movie for sure. And number 7, I have Jungle Cruise. I went into this movie being like, yeah, I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna like it. And I did. I liked it, but there were some things I was not expecting from it, mainly the amount of dad jokes, which if you know me, that is my sense of humor. I am known as that girl at my work at Starbucks. I am the dad joke girl. I have one customer who comes in almost every day and it's just like itching for me to tell her a dad joke, but she hates all of them. She hates them, but she still wants to hear them. So like, I've accomplished. But anyway, no, I love dad jokes and this movie is filled with dad joke humor and I love it. But it's also just a really fun adventure. I guess our 3 main characters are going on this journey to find this tree that has like leaves or flowers on it that can heal anything. But there's also like people going after them, which that actor who played like the German guy who's like the villain and going after them, I love that actor. I've seen him in a couple other things and he's great. He is so great and he was great in this movie. But then we also have these other villains that were like super interesting and I loved like the lore behind it. But they also, the CGI on them, I just thought the CGI was also just great in this movie, but the CGI on those characters looked fantastic and also scary and creepy, which worked for what it needed to be. This is an absolutely great movie. I really enjoy it. Another one that I can watch over and over and over again and still enjoy my time watching it. And number 6, I have Dune. This I really enjoyed, but I think I will like the second movie better just because this one, there was so much to learn that it got very confusing and there were so many political aspects that were super confusing. But overall, I did actually enjoy my time watching this movie, even though I was confused maybe like 70% of the time. And I think the cast was great, but like most importantly, the like visuals of this movie were the best part. Everything visually about this movie was stunning and an absolute work of art. And sometimes I just still like think about some of the shots and I'm like, oh, that was a great shot. Like just randomly in the day. My brain is crazy and it does weird things, but yes, I will think about it sometimes, but not story-wise, but just like visually. Also, Oscar Isaac. Oh, I love Oscar Isaac. And I, for some reason, had no idea he was in this movie when I went to go and see it. And then when he showed up on screen, oh my god, I died. But yeah, no, this is a really good movie, but I think the second movie will be better. Ugh. I hope I didn't just jinx it by saying that. And number 5, I have Encanto. I've already watched Encanto like 3 times. I love this movie. I've also watched so many people on YouTube react to this movie. So technically I feel like I've watched the movie maybe like 50 times at this point. But this is definitely like my favorite, what is it, Disney or Pixar? I think it's Disney, but it's definitely my favorite Disney movie of last year and might be in my like top 5 favorite Disney movies of all time. It is great. We follow the Madrigal family. Each of them have like a magical ability, except for our main character, Mirabel. She was the only one in the family who did not get a gift, but they use these gifts to kind of like help protect and take care of their town that they're kind of like the leaders of. And it's like this like safe haven place. But what happens is there are cracks start happening in the walls and throughout the house. And it's up to like Mirabel to kind of like help save the house and the magic, because the house is kind of like, the house and the candle are their like magic source in a sense. So like once those things die, the magic dies. And that's what it's starting to look like. So Mirabel's trying to help even though she has no magic. But there's also, what I loved most about this movie was the visuals. It is so freaking colorful, and the animation is so detailed and amazing. Also the songs, every single song is a bop, which I expected because Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote it. And it also deals with a lot of like mental health issues that I was not expecting.
And this was the moment I realized my neighbors could hear me.
But I think what I loved the most was the fact that it also deals with a lot of like mental health issues. Like you see all the pressure and like the perfectionist and like all these things that each of the characters are dealing with underneath that they're not showing. And I think it does a really great job of that. Number 4, I have another musical movie, and that is Tick, Tick, Boom. I was not expecting to like really enjoy this movie, but I enjoyed it and I cried. It is great. It is the story of the life of Jonathan Larson, who is the director and writer for the hit musical Rent, which is one of my favorite musicals. I love Rent. I own 2 separate versions of Rent on DVD. This was like, I think, something he wrote before Rent, and it's just kind of like a short little musical about his life. But I love the way that this was done. Also, this is another one Lin-Manuel Miranda did. He directed this one, and his direction was just absolutely fantastic. There was only one scene and like one song that really bored me, but it was also the scene that had so many Broadway legends in it that I was like screaming. So I didn't care how boring and awful the song was. I was just like, look at all these legends in one room, one scene. I was going insane. But also Andrew Garfield, I'm sorry, but he deserves to get an Oscar nomination for this movie. He was fantastic. He put his heart and soul into it. And because this takes place in the 90s, we also are dealing with the AIDS crisis within this movie. And oh my goodness, it was sad, it was heartbreaking, but like it helped me really understand Jonathan Larson and who he was. But yeah, no, the direction and the acting were just the best part about this movie, and highly recommend it. And number 3, which was definitely like, I gave it 4 stars, but it's definitely closer to like a 4.5, and it's very close to a 5-star, but that is The Last Duel. I honestly was not expecting to like this movie. Well, no, I was expecting to like it. I wasn't expecting to love it like as much as I do, especially because this movie deals with such a hard topic, but this takes place, I want to say, in like the 1300s. I don't know, but it's like the first known case of rape that's like in history that we know of. There obviously were probably more before this, but like this is like the first one that we truly know about and have like documentation on, apparently. But the way that this story was told was so interesting, and I thought so well done that it blew my mind. But we're told the story through 3 different perspectives. We are told the story through the husband's perspective, and then through the rapist's perspective, and then through the wife's perspective. So that means you do get the rape scene twice, which is hard to watch. But getting it from 3 different perspectives, you see like there are similarities, but there are also so many differences between the 3 different stories. And so you're like, who is lying, who is telling the truth? So you're just kind of like thinking constantly like, what's a lie, what's the truth? We don't know. And then it all leads up to the very last scene, which includes the last duel, where these 2 men have to duel to the death for her. And it's like, honestly, having that build up the way it was to this duel, that made the duel, oh my god, I was sitting in that seat, heart was pounding, I was terrified. It made the last scene so much more intense. And I was just on the edge of my seat by the end of the movie. It was so good, and the acting is incredible. We've got Matt Damon, we've got Adam Driver, we got Ben Affleck, we also got Jodie Comer again, who definitely I'm loving, and I want to see more stuff with her. But this was just wow. Just wow. Also visually, it was done really well. But yeah, I just do want to like put out that warning that you do see a rape scene twice. But oh no, I loved this movie. And now we're finally in our top 2, which are my 5-star movies of the year. At number 2, I have Inside by Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham is definitely my favorite comedian, has been for a couple years now. And this was like the first time I really saw him do something like this. It was incredible. He basically filmed this throughout all of the pandemic, and it's just like, it is a comedy special, so like it is funny, but it also really makes you think and kind of also makes you feel a little uncomfortable. But that's the thing, that is Bo Burnham's humor style. It's more like dark of a humor style. So he talks a lot about like racism and his mental health and everything that has to do with the pandemic. But what's most impressive about this movie, I feel like, is that not only did Bo Burnham like write it and film it, he also edited it. He did the lighting and the cinematography. He produced it. Like, he literally did everything with this movie. This whole movie was a one-man job, and it is just so impressive how he did that. But this was like definitely one of my favorite things I've watched in my life, and I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. And then we're finally here at my number 1. My number 1 movie that I watched in 2021 was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If you had told me a Marvel movie was going to be my number 1 movie of the year, I would have laughed in your face and been like, you are lying. I am not a superhero movie kind of person. I've watched a good amount of them. Most of them I'm just kind of like, okay, and I'm like, whatever. This one blew me away. I absolutely loved this. So in Shang-Chi, or oh my god, I'm saying the name wrong. I'm so sorry. In Shang-Chi, there we go, that's better. We're following Shang-Chi, and we meet him as Sean. He's just like a normal guy who's a valet, and then we get one of the best fight scenes I have ever watched in a movie on a bus. It was great. We find out, whoa, maybe there's something a little bit more about this guy. Then we find out his dad is like, I don't want to say superhero, but I also don't want to say supervillain, but like, he's got powers because of these rings that like he owns that are on his hand, and he is out for revenge because his wife was murdered. He basically turned his son into an assassin, and it's just like, I feel like I am not doing the story justice. I can't explain what this is about, but basically the son and the father now have to like battle each other for a specific reason, and it is one of the most epic movies I've ever watched. The fight scenes are absolutely incredible. The amount of detail that went into this movie is actually insane. Like, actually insane. And it's so well filmed, so well edited, so well paced. Like, this was just perfection of a movie. And that's all I have to say. And that's where I'm going to leave it. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope I gave you some recommendations in movies. And please tell me what your favorite movies were for last year. Because I would love to know. And I will also put a link down below to my top 20 books of the year. So you can check that out if you want. And yeah, I will see you guys later with more videos. Bye!